Mercury retrograde, March. Hi, how you going? It is, of course, me, Reese T. O'Leary of Purple Flame and Company. That's right, perpelFLAME. And I hope you're doing bloody fantastic and fabulous and well. Um, don't know what that was about. I just watched my earphones connect, not connect, connect again, not connect. In fact, I'm going to disconnect them and reconnect them just to be sure. One moment. Wow. Re- Retrograde is in the house. I don't know if you saw them go blue, go red, go blue, go red, go blue, but they were saying all sorts of things into my ear. Um, I thought I would do a not too long of a live video, but I thought I would do a bit of a live video for everybody just to discuss something that I often don't discuss with everybody. And that is, I just, have been channeling a lot lately, and I actually don't share a lot of my channelings with people, and I don't share a lot because over the years I've experienced, I'll be honest, a lot of demonization when it comes to sharing what I experience and sharing with people the things that I've seen, experienced, picked up on, come into contact with, and people just think I'm a little bit nuts and a little bit crazy. But what's, I guess, really cool about the time in the world that we're living in at the moment is that we're actually living in a time where I'm not the only one talking about this anymore. The difference is I've been talking about this stuff for about 10 or 15 years now. I'm 32 years old. I've been experiencing things since I was a young child, a very young child. In fact, my family reported and has reported to me multiple times over the years that I used to talk to spirits as a baby. Before I was talking to people, I was talking to spirits. So, the world of the paranormal, the world of the unseen, the world that that exists all around us right now that we don't acknowledge is what I want to talk about. Why? Because I think people need to get a bit of a clue in to this world if they really want to start to have a better understanding of the world that actually we live in and what is really reality, reality, real, you know, reality, right? If you know, you know. So, where should I start? Okay, let's start with the basics of this conversation. Something, I'll ease you all into this part of the conversation. And that is, of course, spirits, right? Now, what do you think I mean when I say the word spirits? That's probably a good place to start as well. Because I think many people have a bit of a misconception. That word, spirits, gets chucked around quite a bit, and I find that very interesting because I often wonder, when I hear other people use the term spirits, what do they mean by the term spirit? Because when I talk about spirits, I'm talking about all sorts of beings under one category. Much like we have different people in the world from different places different countries, different ethnic backgrounds, but we call them all humans, right? So a spirit to me, and what I've experienced over the years, can range from people who have died, so our loved ones, our relatives, our friends, our family, other human beings basically that have passed away and have gone into spirit form. I also refer to non-human spirits, right? So these are beings that have not incarnated into a physical body, right? Into one of these flesh suits. I also refer to other forms of energies. I'm trying to find the right terminology for you all because I don't want to confuse you, but at the same time, I also want you to learn from this. There are many different forms of what I refer to as a spirit. You know, a tree has a spirit. There are elemental spirits. There are that's a whole different conversation. Well, no, it's the same conversation, just a whole different branch off of this conversation, because even when you get into the elemental spirits, right, that's where you start to break off into things like fairies, leprechauns, right, goblins. You don't think goblins are real? You don't think leprechauns are real? Go and ask the Irish. Go and talk to the Welsh. Right? They're very real. They're very, very real. And what's fascinating, okay, so you've got spirits, right? Then we have other types of beings as well. I call these galactic beings, and I refer to these as galactic beings because they're not earth-bound. They haven't come from Earth. They're not from here. They weren't born here. They don't derive from here. But they come here. They visit here, right? And they visit in many different forms, both seen and unseen. Sometimes they're physical and yet invisible, and sometimes they come in other dimensional states, right? You've got things like the greys, the grey aliens, yes, the little green men. They're actually not green. They're actually not green at all. They're greys. That's why they're called the greys. You've got other forms of beings of this variety as well, which are non-human, not of the origin of the earth, right? There are so many beings that exist all around us. There are so many different types of energies that we share this space with, and yet people fail to acknowledge these presences all the time. It really boggles my mind how in 2025 people still think that I am the crazy one. It really boggles my mind that people in 2025 still believe that I am off my rocker for talking about this stuff when the evidence is there. We haven't even got into the sea creatures yet. Don't get me started on mermaids. You don't think mermaids are real? Go and ask the Thai people. Go and ask the many island nations that have mermaid statues by the ocean. Hmm? 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 Go and talk to the Scandinavians about mermaids. Hmm? The Norse. Hmm? But I'm the crazy one. You don't think dragons are real? Go and ask the Chinese. Go and talk to the Chinese. You know what's really fascinating about the Chinese zodiac calendar is that there's 12 animals, and only one of them is supposedly mythological. Now, why would they create a calendar and use all animal references that we're fully aware of, bar one, just one, and make it mythological? Hmm. Hmm. Just have a think about that. That's an interesting comment. There's reasons NASA stopped searching the sea and went to the skies. Did NASA stop searching the sea? And what really is the skies? Are the skies really skies? Hmm? Hmm? What is the sky? What actually is it? Can anybody here attest to what that actually is? How do we know the sky is not the sea? Hmm? Hmm? Why is it that more unidentified aerial craft come from the ocean than the sky? Hmm? Hmm? What makes a rainbow curved? Anyone ever done an experiment and created a rainbow with a hose? Hmm? Hmm. Interesting. There is so much to the world around us, and people are still so blind, willfully blind to what they think does not exist. You don't think there's energy around you right now that you can't see? Do you know what percentage of light your eyes can perceive? It's very small percentage. Very small percentage. But I'm the crazy one, right? I'm the crazy one. I'm the one that knows nothing, apparently. Yet I'm the one that's been talking about it for 15 years, to this community at least, right? Have I learnt from others out there in the community that have been talking about it for 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80 years? Absolutely. There are many more that have come before me. I'm a drop in the ocean. Ha! I'm a drop in the ocean. Why am I bringing this up? Why am I talking about this? Because, often people ask me, Reese, why do you walk at night? Don't you get lonely? Don't you get scared? There's nobody around. There's actually more beings around at night than there is in the day. Perceivable, anyway. Perceivable by me, anyway. And more than likely others, right? There's more opportunity for peace. It's very peaceful in the night. It's very, very peaceful. But especially down here in Australia, I know there are people that will watch this in different countries. But especially down here in Australia, there's a lot of paranormal, you know, entities that people just don't pay attention to, that exist on a day-to-day basis, even in our cities, even in our main cities. And I'm really excited to be going on an adventure very shortly. And I really, really hope to be able to come into contact with many more of these creatures, many more of these energies, many more of these beings. I mean, I'm not here to prove anything to anyone. I need no proof. I already believe, I already know, I already understand. But it would be very wise for many people to start exploring what they perceive to be the paranormal, or what people perceive to be the mythological. I think people will begin to discover that these things aren't as mythological, or aren't as inexplicably made up as one might believe. What extent does this go to, these myths? What extent do these so-called, made-up stories reach? Is the tooth fairy real? I can tell you right now, the story of the tooth fairy comes from somewhere that is not a made-up place, right? There would be reasons behind that story, and much like the good old game of, what did they call it? What's the politically correct term for the game? Telephone, I think it is. In Australia, we called it Chinese whispers. I don't think that's politically correct these days in 2025, though. But I think in America or other places in the world, they call it telephone. But these stories have been passed down through so many, mouths and ears that details have become changed, lost. But a slither of the narrative has always remained, right? I'm about to go on a journey where I feel like I'm going to be pulled into experiencing a lot more of these things. I get visits in my dreams from many different creatures and things, many different paranormal entities and beings. Every night, my God, I have arguments with, I call it the light ghost. I call it the light ghost because I'll walk downstairs and the light's flashing, 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 and I just go, oh, can you give it a break? Give it a rest, would you? And as soon as I say that, whoop, the light stops flashing. You saw an example of me talking about the light ghosts the other night. I posted a video here where literally I was talking to you all about the energies feeling very palpable. And then all of a sudden I was saying, oh, the street lights go off. Often I'll walk at random times of the night and I'll be out here and the street lights go pop. They all go off at the same time. Different times of the night. Every time. Never the same time. Right? And then right as I said that, I ended the video. Guess what happened? Pop! The lights went out. And I've gotten very used to being comfortable in the dark because it goes very dark very quickly, especially when you're used to a lot of light around in the cities. And I started filming again, and then I captured the lights coming back on. Now I've also had the complete opposite as well. I'll be driving at random times of the day. Haven't got this one on camera yet because I'm driving. But I'll be driving and the street lights will be coming on. 11 o'clock in the morning, midday, 1 p.m., 2 p.m. As I'm driving past, the lights are coming up, the street lights are slowly lighting up. Hmm? 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 Is it me? No. Is it my car? No. What is it then? Oh, it's the power company. Right. The power company says, look, he's driving past. Let's turn the lights on now. Let's turn them on now. Let's turn them off. Reese has gone for a walk. Let's turn them off. That's exactly what's happening, isn't it? People need to start waking up, right? Let's turn the lights off on a crossroads when there's a witch walking. The Deluminator. I'm reading a comment here for anyone watching this later. You must have had one of them light things Dumbledore has. The Deluminator. Yes, that's what I call it every single time. That is literally what I say to people. Who's got the Deluminator? Who's got the Deluminator? That's exactly what it looks like too. Right? I always look... You know what? There is actually a cat around here. A stray cat. This stray cat has done some awfully weird things around me. Right? So there's a main road at the back. I walk between a sign on a crossroad, right? And this crossroad has a roundabout, and there's one side of the road over here, there's one side over here, and there's a drain on this side of the road. I'm usually on this side, so there's like three roads, right? I'm usually on this side because it's all one side, right? And I don't like, why should I feel the need to cross the road? If I could draw you a diagram right now, I would. There's a drain. The amount of times I've walked past, crossed the road and walked past that drain to walk to the service station or something in the middle of the night, and there's a cat just sitting there, just chilling, just watching me, swishing its tail. I'm like, Professor McGonagall, is that you? Maggie Smith, I thought you died. That same cat scared the absolute shit out of me the other night because I was walking, doing my laps, and I walked and I went, ah! Because it was just sitting there next to the footpath watching me do laps. Very odd behaviour for a cat. In fact, I saw a ginger cat 2 nights ago. I was on the phone to someone when this happened too. I've got verbal witnesses. They heard it. This ginger cat with a collar, so it has an owner, one of these houses over here somewhere, and this ginger cat's and I'm like, what the flippin' hell's going on here? Chasing this exact cat, and this cat bolted. Same cat! The grey cat bolted across the road, main road. Knew where it was going, knew what it was doing. Ginger cat stopped at the side of the road, like it was fending it off. Is it a cat though? Is it? What is a cat, by the way? What is a house cat? Because did you know that house cats aren't related to lions or tigers? Did you know house cats don't belong to the feline family? They're the only cat to have 3 eyelids. Scientists still can't explain why they purr at certain frequencies. Ancient Egyptians had a very interesting relationship with these cats. Hmm. Right. What are they? Anyways, I've just been seeing a lot on social media, all platforms, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, you know. You know what I find really interesting? Cats were once revered in ancient Egypt, and now we have the internet. And do you know what the supposed king of the internet is? Cats. Hmm. What was the most popular thing to be searched for a very long time on the internet? Cats. Cat means cats. Cats. Cats are so revered, they made a fucking musical about them. Cats. Cats. Hmm? So do we really understand where we live? Do we really understand all that we're surrounded by? No. That's my answer anyway. No. And that's coming from someone who has a lot of experiences with different beings, different entities, different creatures. Yes? I mean, you probably don't want me to tell you what I see coming out of mirrors. You probably don't want me to share that. You'll probably go around your house breaking all the mirrors if I told you that. Mm. You'd have to probably get rid of all the reflective surfaces while you're at it. Right? There's a mirror right there. There's two mirrors over there. Mm. But I'm just crazy, right? I'm just nuts. Cuckoo! All right. All right. Have it your way. You do you, boo-boo. And when things go in the night, don't come screaming to good old Reese for answers in my little black book of things that I've experienced. Because I'm the crazy one. You know, the Mad Hatter wasn't all that mad. Right? Do your research, folks. Start looking. Start looking around the world at cultures. Start looking at ancient or old civilizations. Right? There are many things that we don't understand. I'm not even claiming to understand them. As I said, there are so many things I don't... Do you know how many nights I go for a walk and I smell the perfume of different spirits that are walking beside me? Or I hear the footsteps or the voices or... Or the night that I was on someone's property and I was doing a reading. Yeah, I probably won't do that again. Not at that time of the night. But doing a reading around 10:30, 11 o'clock at night, and this is before we've recently discovered that this property seems to be situated somewhere magnetic, or there seems to be something going on with this place. But I was doing a reading and I was all of a sudden bombarded with hundreds of spirits coming through all at once. Spirits, as in deceased peoples and other beings, all pushing their way into my peripheral. And yes, I was getting freaked out. it was actually freaking me out. And I'm not someone that often gets freaked out. Rarely will you ever see me getting the heebie-jeebies, but this was giving me the heebie-jeebies. Especially when I was looking over into the dark patches of the woods and there's glowing eyes that were moving by themselves. Especially when I started gasping and the person I was with said, "Oh, that was genuine. You were scared just then." And I said, "Yes, I was." I don't know what that is. That was startling. Yes, in fact it was. I think it's time we all wake up, folks. Just because you live in a city doesn't mean these things aren't there. You don't think they haven't learned how to mask themselves around these parts of the world? The modern world? We know nothing. We know absolutely nothing. Yep. We think we're so clever. We're so clever. We're so clever. Yeah? You know, it's really interesting. Being told by the fairies that... So, if you didn't know this about me, I have had experiences with the fairies for many years now. I've seen real fairies, like real physical fairies, right? But more often than not, they show themselves to me in a different way. It looks like twinkles in my eyes. But my real life experience of a fairy, the fairy was about this big, wingspan about this big, and I could hear the fluttering of the wings, like a bird, right? Saw its little scrunched up goblin face, right? Did I run and duck for fucking cover? Yeah, absolutely I did. And then I was like, oh, shit. No wonder they don't like us. Look at how I just reacted. Because I was like, holy shit, it was real. It wasn't just a little glimmery thing in my peripheral. Not this time. It was really real. And it came out of its little hidey hole and said hello. Not literally said hello, but it flew out of its little hidey hole and then flew back into its little hidey hole. And that's at somebody else's house I'm still friends with. Right? But let me tell you, one thing the fairies have told me is they really don't like humans. They really don't like us. When I say us, I mean mankind. So I don't know what we did to them, but we did something. There was some sort of war. There was some sort of messy breakup between the harmony that once existed. Because they really don't like us. And they have their own little weird magic, right? They're always around. And there's different types of them too. Then you got their cousins, the imps. The imps are little mischievous. You think the fairies are bad? Oof, the imps are worse. At least fairies are semi-relatable to humans, as in fairies... There's more of an opportunity to get along or to befriend or to make acquaintance with a fairy than there is with an imp. Imps, I would say straight out, don't like humans. Just flat out do not like us. And they will cause us mischief and havoc and harm. So I don't know what we did. We did something. There was some sort of war. War against that part of the world. That's why they keep themselves cloaked. That's why they keep themselves hidden. They reveal themselves to very few. Very few. I don't want to use the word chosen ones, but very few who they feel they can on some level trust. Right? And again, I've only ever seen one physically once. And it scared the shit out of me. And I was like, holy shit, that was huge. You know? It was like seeing a fucking Pokemon. Right? It was bizarre. It was absolutely bizarre. Would I do it again? 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10. Next time, let's have a tea party, damn it. But I've got to prepare myself for this, you know? But let me tell you, there's a lot more to this world than you can fathom. There's a lot more that goes on around you right now, wherever you're watching this from. They exist in your house. They exist in your car. They're everywhere. I'm not just talking about the fairies. I'm talking about all sorts of beings, entities, creatures. God, you think a locked door will stop them? Think again. Mate, they're better than Santa Claus. They don't come down no chimney. People really need to start researching, investigating, understanding, opening themselves up to what they don't understand. Religion, especially organized religion, has spent a good portion of time, as well as collective society has spent a good portion of time trying to shove this information away from people. Trying to get people to forget about this stuff, to think it's fake, to think it's myth, to think it's fake, you know, bullshit. To demonize and to call people like me crazy, to make out that I'm, you know, seeing things. No, no, no. I am seeing things, absolutely. And they're real. They're very real. You know, they're very, very real. If I actually sat here and had a conversation with you all about everything that I've experienced in my life, half of you, more than half of you actually, would probably sit there and go, yeah, right, you're full of shit. Yeah, absolutely full of shit. Like, if I told you, for example, that I can't even speak it because I know the judgment that I'll experience as a result of saying it. But I can tell you, I've experienced something with my mother. I've experienced things in my sleep. I've experienced things in my waking life. I've been experiencing things my entire life. My entire life. We're talking things in all realms. We're talking spirits, paranormal, alien, right? I'm more than convinced, in fact, that I've had multitudes of encounters with beings, cosmic beings, in the flesh. In the flesh. Would probably account for some of my capabilities, would probably account for some of my awareness and intuitive insights and ability to telepathically read people from a very young age, you know? My memories, my ability to see into places that I'm probably not supposed to be able to see into. Some of my deepest fears over the years have been ones that I've never I've shared them with very few people, very few people. Less than 5 people know one of my top 5 fears, for example. And I call them my schizophrenic fears, you know. I call them my, you know, they're fears that you would think, why do you have such a fear like that? But if you've experienced the things that I've experienced, if you've been told by your family members some of the things I've been told, if you've seen some of the things I've seen, witnessed some of the things I've witnessed, you'd have those fears too. And I won't speak them out loud. I already face enough judgment on a day-to-day basis as it is. I don't need any more, you know. I know I'm already going to face judgment from this video alone. But it's time people start to wake up more. I needed to put this video out there, you know. I have been in communication with a lot more than just ghosts, spirits. I've been calling myself the conscious, yes, self-coined, sure, why not? But I have told you all for many years, since I was on TV at least, that I am the conscious I've got clips of me saying on national TV, I'm the conscious communicator. I am the conscious communicator. I communicate with all forms of energy. All forms of energy. Right? So it's not like I haven't been saying this for at least a decade. At least. It's almost been 10 years since I was on TV. Can you believe that? That's crazy. Almost a whole decade has passed. So, start to wake up. Start to wake up. It's time. Come on. You can do it. I'm already awake. So, come join me. You know? There's nothing to be scared of. There's nothing to be afraid of. The only fear is fear itself. Right? I'm sure there are many more things that I'm going to encounter on my journey that make me go, holy crap! That's cool. That's awesome. And I'm sure I'll, you know, face some more judgment along the way, because there are just so many people limiting their scope of what they can perceive. But I warn you all now, we're passing into a time where everybody will begin to experience these things. Everybody. And you will shit your pants. You will be fucking running and ducking for cover. And you will go, where's Reese? I need to talk to him because I'm local to you, that's all. I'm not the only person experiencing these things. I'm certainly not I am 10,000% not the only person experiencing, 1,000,000% not the only person experiencing these things. But I'm one of few around the world. And when I say few, that number still could be quite large, you know, hundreds of thousands of people. There's not a whole lot of us, but there is a lot of us at the same time. It's not 1 or 2 people. It's not 10, 20, 30 people. No, it's hundreds of thousands of people around the world have experienced these things. If not into the millions, you know. We almost have 9 billion people here on Earth now. 9 billion, right? Our population has rapidly increased over the last few years. So, you know, what's a couple mil? But I can tell you now, there's plenty of us, you know. Go look into Skinwalker Ranch. Hey, Moonbeam. You know? So, when I have, you know, slight digression of topic, but when I have, you know, my systems set up and they notify me that my information is being breached by the British Ocean Atlantic Territory or whatever the fuck they call themselves, and you go and have a look at that space and all that's there is some military observational fucking space, blah 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 blah, it raises my eyebrows a little bit, right? You know, when I have friends that have access to government systems and they go in their little computer systems and they type Reese's name in and they come back and they call me and they go, hey Reese, you might want to be careful. Your name's on a few lists. Alright? Alright? There's reasons for that. There's reasons for that. What about the dreams that I have when I go to the same building and in that building I get told by people, don't let the dream police catch you. Don't let them catch you, Reese. You're not supposed to be here. You keep coming back here. Don't let them catch you. Right? What is the moon, by the way? What is that thing? Rings like a bell. Did you know that? Interesting. Interesting. Did you know everyone that's been to the moon is also a Freemason? Been to the moon. Beam me up, Scotty. The world is not what you know it, my friends, to be. And it's time you all start to wakey wakey. Wakey wakey. Rub that sleep out of your eyes. Wakey wakey. Raise those frequencies. Activate this. Get that pineal gland pinging. You need to start seeing more frequency. You need to start receiving more frequency. Open up those receptors. Come on. Chop chop. Or as my French teacher used to say to us, vite vite. Vite vite. Means hurry hurry. Vite vite. Right? Hey Moonbeam, you're in the UK, aren't you? What does the UK say about fairies and leprechauns? They're fake, right? Totally fake, aren't they? They're totally made up mythological creatures, aren't they, Moonbeam? Don't get me started on the Africans. Oh, God. Plenty of other cultures. Plenty of other cultures. Plenty of others. Oh, don't look into the Incans, the Mayans, Native Americans, the Inuit. Don't look into. God, don't. I can't because it becomes too stupid after a while. It becomes too stupid. The stupid part is how much people think they don't believe in until they do some research. Right. But I'm the crazy one. I'm the crazy one. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. Uh-huh. Yeah, that's exactly right. You know, for a crazy person, I get an awful lot of things correct. Mm. It's weird how those things happen. Crazy, but correct. Crazy, but correct. Ah, crazy, but correct. Mm. Been talking about it for over a decade. Crazy, but correct. Again, I'm not the only one. I am not the only one. I guess you'd hate to know about the different colored humans. I mean, I'm not advising anyone to try anything or do anything. But for example, what I saw when I had a little dose of something called dimethyltryptamine, also known as DMT. Wow, that was a whole nother kettle of fish, that was. I'm sure that opened me up even further. You think gods aren't real? Gods with an S. You think primordial beings aren't real? Okay, alright. You think water doesn't have a spirit? Okay, alright. Suit yourself. Suit yourself. But I guess you're the same person that also doesn't think that weather modification exists either, or cloud seeding. So I guess we probably shouldn't go to the cloud seeding weather modification museum in Thailand then? Yeah, maybe not. Maybe I also shouldn't mention to you or talk about Tartaria. Hmm, maybe not. Too much? Too soon? Or the demonization of Russia? Hmm, hmm. Or the super soldiers? Too much? Too soon? Am I cracking your mind open a bit too much yet? These are all different buzzwords and topics that you should all go and look into. Hmm. What's the first letter of the alphabet? Tartaria. 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 Hmm. Hmm. Things aren't what we think they are, my friends. Hmm. Is the Great Wall of China really, was it really made by the Chinese to keep out the Mongols? If that's so, then why was it facing towards China? Why were the turrets facing towards China? Wouldn't they be facing away from China? Hmm. 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 Interesting. Hmm. 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 There are many things about this world that we don't understand completely. Wakey, wakey. It's time to wake up. It's 2025. The alarm clock's been going off for a few years now. Yeah. And I think I've left you all with enough crazy for this lovely Sunday viewing that you are having. So go and do some research and open your mind. Then you can come back and thank me later. Again, I'm not the only one. I'm not the first one. I'm one of many. But I've been talking about this stuff for over 15 years. But I'm the crazy one. Look it up. And then ask yourself, why is Reese on so many lists? Hmm. Hmm. Why did I have the ability to go through airports without identification during COVID-19? Why wasn't I stopped by the Australian Federal Police at Brisbane Airport? It's an interesting one. Anywho, have a good day.